Hello, Namaste. Welcome to ThePrint. My name is Amana Begam Ansari. This week I have written column that Taliban makes women unsafe everywhere. Not as bad as in Afghanistan is now a dangerous tool. So Hollywood actor Meryl Streep's speech on the sideline of the United Nations General Assembly brought much needed attention to the plight of Afghan women. A cat or squirrel has more freedom than women in Afghanistan, she said in her speech, criticizing the Taliban's discriminatory rules and urging the world to step in. However, it doesn't look like that Taliban is paying any attention. Perhaps, as Strips emphasized in her speech, there's a room for more effort from the international community. The world, including India, needs to understand that the situation in Afghanistan will impact all women and not just the Afghan ones. People might believe that their society has no direct connection to the event occurring in faraway lands. They fail to recognize that an outlier like Afghanistan shifts the Overton window, making women's issues in other countries seems less severe and urgent in comparison. This adds to the rhetorical arsenal of regressive elements, helping them resist effort for the gender equality. Take this worrying report by Whose Hands on Our Education, which highlights a global influence campaign by the extreme religious group and political parties to restrict girls' education. These groups have been specifically targeting schools to counter gender equality and promote patriarchal norms to nip all the progress in the bud. The situation of women in Afghanistan makes this effort look less threatening somehow and less evil in comparison, forming a confluence that undermines women's rights across the globe. Since Taliban rule Afghanistan is isolated from the global community diplomatically, economically, and culturally, we must think about now how to appeal. Appeals such as that of Streep would translate into policy change. Voices like hers help amplify the issue faced by the oppressed women. But is that enough? A country that already doesn't have democratic process and is isolated from global interaction needs a lot more. Influencing an isolated nation, the Taliban government diplomatically is not recognized by a majority of nations and faces sanction and aid restriction already. Nation and international organization can make agreement in these areas conditional on the reestablishment of women positions in public life as well as their human rights. The frozen asset of Afghanistan can also be made a part of that negotiation. It might seem that a country as isolated as Afghanistan is immune to economic pressure, except it conducts major trade with its neighboring countries. India, for one, has old ties with Afghanistan and still remains the country's second largest export market after Pakistan. New Delhi, in cooperation with the international community, can effectively use economic and diplomatic measures to pressure Kabul to ensure human rights and end gender based discrimination. Another strategy that could be employed in is cultural influence. Yes, in a country where the Taliban regime control all form of the expression, it is not easy to make inroads into the wider society and wield cultural influence as a mean of change. But smartphones and internet access provide Afghan, especially the younger generation, access to the global media, which can subtly influence their worldview and cultural aspiration. So the international NGO and media outlets can create the content and circulate such as the documentaries and short movies advocating humans and women's rights. They can also amplify the voices of Afghan people living abroad, helping them share their literature, art, aspiration, and experience with a wider global audience. This will give a platform to Afghan community, particularly Afghan women, to raise their voices and keep alive their fight for just and fair Afghanistan. So, apart from that, we can create a common front for women. One important lesson that can be drawn from the strip's speech influence or voice for the cause of uplifting of oppressed Muslim women. This approach transcends national, ethnic, and religious boundaries, helping form a common front for all women of the world. When any woman is empowered, benefiting womankind and its fight for fundamental rights. So while Strip has done her part, I believe, using her voice, the international community needs to unite and take urgent action to create a future where every man, woman, and child can dare to dream and live a dignified life full of safety and respect. As India takes a central role on the global stage, can it build its diplomatic, economic the question? Thank you for such a more video. Keep watching The Print.